there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this live today. I wanted to do a live for any woman that's ever said, I'm ready to rebuild. And maybe you've had questions about what rebuilding means to you. But we're going to talk today about the misunderstanding of rebuilding and how you can simply stand on your skills, your talent, your expertise. And it doesn't matter where you stand when you get this message. I was inspired because I spoke with someone recently whose job let them go. And they have decided they're in a position that they are going to rebuild. But it's something that happens to many of us. Your rebuilding might not be that your job let you go and you decided to retire. It could be that you are just ready for your next level of elevation. And maybe you're starting over in your business and you're looking to build the business and you're trying to figure out, am I new at this? No, you're true to this. So I've got a couple quick topics that I'm going to cover today related to the misunderstanding of rebuilding. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. And I got started my company over 20 years ago, and I simply made the decision to rebuild. I made the decision that I wanted to package my experience, my expertise, and my gifts as a corporate trainer, and I wanted to put my skills and talent to work for me. And if you've ever verbalized that, you've ever thought the exact same thing, this is going to be for you. We're going to talk today over the next couple of minutes about what rebuilding is and what you have your hands in your hands. Because a lot of times we are so close to our skills and our talents that we forget what we have in our hands. And I want you to know that you are closer than you can even imagine. All right. And so for those of you who have thought about starting your own business, this is going to be for you. And for those who are already in business, but you're looking for that next level of elevation, maybe to work with a new customer or to charge more or to change the models in your business, the structure to give you more time, this is going to be for you. Or maybe it's for you because you know that there's something not congruent in your life as it relates to your work life. And you want to get more in alignment and you're trying to figure out how to do that. This is going to be for you. So let's just jump in. So I wanted to, I was inspired because I spoke with someone and after working for a company for 30 plus years, they made a decision to let her go. And so she decided to take a retirement because that was available to her. And as a result of that, there are many questions that come when you were in that place of rebuilding. And here's number one, the first thing I want you to understand, and I've got some notes, is that rebuilding is not starting over from scratch. Okay, somebody write that. Rebuilding is not starting over from scratch. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions or misunderstandings that we have when we're starting something that's new, we start a new business, or if your job let you go and you decide you're going to do something different, a lot of times what we think is that we have to start over. But the truth is you've got 10, 20, 30 years plus of experience. And you are going to stand on that experience and you're going to leverage that experience and you're going to package that into a product or service that's really going to support the world. All of your years of education and all of the scenarios that you've overcome, all of your expertise and your on-the-job experience is what makes you exceptionally valuable. And it's also the thing that makes you scarce. And if you've thought that I'm starting over, well, my goodness, I can't believe I'm starting over at this age. I want you to think differently about starting. Are we clear? Are we clear? See, rebuilding, in my opinion, is an act of wisdom. Rebuilding is an act of wisdom. There are times in your life when you realize that the thing that you're doing is not your thing. I've done it over and over again where, there was a time in my business where I only and exclusively coached moms. And then I made a decision. I wanted to rebuild. I wanted to change what I was doing. And I wanted to show women how they, like me, could package their expertise into a product or a service as a coach or consultant or trainer. They could figure out for the first time their niche and build a business around it like I did. See, You don't have to stay in the box of what you believe you ought to or should do. And in fact, I tell people all the time, ought and should, they're not real. Okay. Like just let them go if you use those words. Okay. You're not looking to return to who you were, but instead you are arriving into who you are. And if you've never thought about changing and growing and rebuilding from that perspective, it's a very powerful reframe. Really think about for yourself, like reframing the way that you think about what rebuilding is. It's not starting over. You're not starting from scratch. You literally are making that decision to arrive into who you are. And so it's really about connecting more with where you are right now and thinking about what would really serve your highest good. Who are you meant to be here to touch and create impact with based on your gifts and your talents. All right. Are we clear? Number two, what you already have is more than enough. So this idea that sometimes when we have significant changes in our world, we think maybe I need to go back to school, or I need to get another certification. I need to get another degree. I need to work with clients for free, right? To get them to validate that I'm good at what I do, that I know my stuff. You don't need that. You already have every single thing you need to launch, and it's more than enough. Here's the question, and I have three that I want you to answer. Write them down right now. What lived experiences shaped how powerfully you have shown up? What lived experiences have you had that have shaped how powerfully you have shown up in your life, in your world? Start thinking about the things that you've done that have created impact or an echo, things that people say to you over and over again. You're so great at this, or this really transformed my life. That is the thing to stand on. It's the reason why you don't need anything else other than what you've already done exceptionally well, or we clear. Number two, the other question I want you to ask yourself: what have you mastered quietly that others need urgently? What is it that you have mastered quietly that others need right now? Because that is the thing that is packageable. So for those of you who are listening right now and you're thinking, I know that there's a business inside of me, but I'm not sure what that business is. What is it that you do in your free time that just comes easily and effortlessly for you? And the results are always the same. They're always great results. And whether you do it with others or whether you've just been doing it for yourself, learning how to transfer that level of expertise or results to others by teaching them that as a coach, a consultant, or a trainer, or via licensing is what it's all about. There is a business inside of you. And here's the last question. What are you sitting on that could be someone else's solution? What is it that you keep saying, I just do that. Everybody can do that. That is likely the thing. What is it that you do seamlessly, that you do it so easily that it's easy to miss? I was just coaching clients over the weekend at my master training, and I was saying to them that likely a lot of times with really smart, brilliant, amazing women, it's the thing that they do so eloquently, so easily, that is close. It's like right here, and you can't see it because you're that close. You can't step away from it. What is that thing that you are sitting on that likely is someone else's solution? Because that is what is packageable. And when you're thinking about rebuilding, here's the third thing I want you to think about. Rebuilding means monetizing your mastery. So, the difference between having a skill or a talent is that you are thinking about when you're going to start it as a business, how can I monetize this mastery? Like, what's the demographic that has this problem and that are willing to pay me for what it is that I know how to do? Who are they? All right. Start writing them down right now. Start thinking outside of the box and zone. I'd love to help you figure out who they are. Right. And number four, rebuild with strategy, not survival. So a lot of times when people start businesses, particularly if they have a shift, like the example that I talked about in the beginning, where I was speaking with someone and the job let them go and they decided to take an early retirement. And you want to make sure that your mindset is at the highest level when you are choosing powerfully for yourself, not at the lowest level where you feel like you don't have any options. You got tons of options. You've got the skill, you've got the talent, you've got the ability, you have the mastery. It's now about doing that survey inside of yourself and realizing what it is and owning it. And I always say owning your bigness. Rebuilding isn't about providing anything. It's about choosing yourself for clarity. So sometimes people, when they're thinking about rebuilding, they're thinking about like, just doing anything for anyone with the skills and talents they have. But it's not really about that. It's really about you finally choosing yourself and choosing yourself to be clear around what feels right, what's aligned for you, what's congruent for you. It could be simple questions that you're asking yourself. I know I did this years ago. I said, how do I want to live? I want to work. I want to build my business around my life. I want to be able to be a part of my kids' life and use my skills, my talents to elevate women, to be able to package their intellect, to be able to price, to be able to market, to be able to find buyers, close, and sell. I want to do that, but I want to do it in a way that's congruent with me. Like, I don't want to not be able to be the kind of mom I want to be, right, with my kids. So think about what you want to do and really think about standing tall in that. It's about creating a time-rich business model that gives you ownership, right? So to me, that's everything. And I find that a lot of the women that I work with, when they come to me, one of the things that they're looking for is not what they had in their work situation where they were trading time for dollars. They are now looking for a way to be able to, whether it's working one to many or whether it's a new model where they're not selling their time and they understand how to value their intellect and be able to charge differently for what they do to affect change. It's about being able to see the value of what you truly bring. And most often we can't do it ourselves. That's why coaching and mentorship is so important around this. Someone else can see you and help you understand how to properly value it, what you're doing. Structure, pricing, positioning, execution. That's how you rebuild. So let me say it again. Structure, changing the structure of how you're working, when you're working, who you're working with, what kind of models exist for you. There's so many that will really leverage your skills in tremendous ways. And you can stop killing yourself with the hustle and grind models. Pricing, understanding that pricing solves it all. When you start to work with people who value what you do and pay you quickly for the transformation that you can bring, it changes everything in your life. Positioning, knowing how to market and how to market to get directly in front of your ideal clients, people who are ready, people who have the ability to say yes without surveying their world, right? People who are ready say yes. And it's also about execution on your end, like being an implementer. You can have the best ideas ever, but if you don't execute that which you know, and a lot of times people don't execute because they don't have accountability, or maybe they have fear or doubt in their own skills and talent. And that's, again, where mentorship comes in. But if you're talking about rebuilding, rebuilding requires structure, pricing, positioning, and execution. And that's how we rebuild. So I hope that there's something that I've said to you today that's made you think a little bit differently about yourself and what you have access to. I think a lot of us have a misunderstanding about what it takes to rebuild. We think it's way harder than it is. I watch women rebuild all the time. I watch women who have no product, no idea what they're going to do, but they have skill and talent and a background to back up on many different things that they've done, incredible education, that they've invested in themselves. And I show them how to take the thing that they do that's exceptionally close to them and how to put it in a structure where they can monetize their gifts and their talents for other people who are wanting to stand on their shoulders. Companies that have a desire for what it is that you know and you know exceptionally well, that will pay you well for what you do. Now, here's a challenge. A lot of times people struggle around standing in their value monetarily and charging what they're worth because they're so used to having a salary or at some hourly rate that they've charged, that they've been programmed that they can't get paid any other way. And that's sometimes the thing that you have to unlearn when you want to start a business. And I know that was a whole ouch moment, but it's also something just to shift you and get you to think a little bit differently. If you've ever said, like, I don't know if anybody's going to pay me for that, you're likely experiencing what I just talked about. All right. And I want you to think differently about what it is that you bring to the table. I'm going to post a link here. And if there's anything that I've said that has resonated with you here today, I want you to book a business breakthrough call with me, or a member of my team. And one of the things we'll do is walk through, what that experience looks like, what you want to do, what the alignment could look like, how to package what you can do as a high ticket offer on or offline, and show you the way forward on how it's easier than you think it is. Trust me, it's easier than you even know. And that there's no reason to not rebuild. There's no reason not to start. There's no reason, if what you're doing right now, if you have a business, it's not working, look, it's time to just change it up and learn what you do not see, stand on our shoulders, our process. I've helped thousands of women really get it right when they just didn't understand what they had their hands on, what was inside their hands. That's what I want to say, what was inside of their hands. And I want to show you exactly the same. I'll post the link here as well. Book a business breakthrough session and really support you. And really, that's the link there. It's miaredrick.com/business breakthrough. Okay. And book a session with us and we'll help you get some insight in terms of what the next could look like. I want you to think about this. Like, you say yes to yourself today and the next 6 months could be unrecognizable. And it's up to you, right, in terms of what that looks like. So I hope that there's something that I've said today that'll support you. If you're watching this as a replay, I want to hear from you. Be sure to DM us, write us as you're answering these questions. Or if you have any other questions for us, just write us here inside of the whatever platform you're seeing this on. I love you, and I hope you have a great and amazing day. Are you interested in packaging your knowledge into a high-ticket product on or offline? If your answer is yes, the Giant Experience is for you. Here's my story. I got started in my business over 20 years ago, and I simply made the decision to go to work as myself. And maybe you have been wondering how you can take all of those years of experience, your knowledge, or your degrees, and put them to use for yourself, and to package it into a monetizable structure. That was me 20 years ago. I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer, and I realized that so many women wanted to know exactly how I was able to write best-selling books, and having done partnerships with both Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies and get signed to media, Emmy-nominated and nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And so I decided to equally transfer what I knew how to do to them. And I built out a coaching practice that today has coached thousands of women just like you who are ambitious, smart, and sharp, highly actionable, go-getters. And they wanted to figure out how they could go to work for themselves.